creating priorities for an all-in plan to address this critical path forward when it comes to tariffs. I'm joined by Canadian Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Candace Laing. Good morning, Candace.
Good morning.
And when it comes to that path forward, priorities, what are the priorities of Canadian Chamber when it comes to tariffs?
Well, given we're in this situation and tariffs are just a massive threat to Canadian business and our economy, we do need to shore up our own economic self-reliance and economic security, but we also need to stay focused on what is that ongoing longer-term relationship with the U.S. because in 1 year, our trade relationship, we do $1.3 trillion worth of business, and on a daily basis, that's $3.6 billion of business across our border on a day-to-day basis.
And we are in the federal election campaign. We're entering week 3 here. What are you hoping to hear from our leaders and our local election campaign?
Well, I think as we're in the next few weeks of the campaign, and I think we've heard that post-campaign we have the hope that we'll have a comprehensive conversation with the U.S. about our trade agreement that is in play. That trade agreement has been to some extent respected even as we battle tariffs, the ones we have, the ones that may still come tomorrow. But in the meantime, I think when we're looking at even what the Canadian Chamber and the Chamber Network across the country is looking for out of what needs to come for the party that wins the election is a couple things. We need to make sure we deal with our own protectionist tendencies in Canada. We do not have a one economy free open trade across the country. We have barriers that act internally like our own tariffs that are more than 20% or 3.6% of our economy in terms of GDP, and a full 25% tariff scenario with the US is less of an impact on our economy than that. And at the same time, looking at how to get our products to other markets in addition to the US, which requires really important investments in our infrastructure.
And we also talk about the push for internal trade. How can Canada collaborate to make this side move forward?
You know, it's funny because I think the internal trade conversation is now getting a lot of attention finally, and it is complex. It means we have to harmonize some of our standards across regions. It means we have to look at how do we more freely move people and goods and have services that operate more like in one economy in Canada instead of regional or provincial economies. And so now it's really exciting to see many provinces and jurisdictions just committed to finally tackling some of those long-standing barriers.
And we're talking about local trade as well, our prairie businesses. How do tariffs impact our local prairie business?
In many ways. So I think we've heard a lot of discussions around our natural resources, including energy and potash, because a lot of those resources go to the U.S. market. But I think what's really important right now is some of what's happening with tariffs kind of boomerangs around to Canada. So even though we didn't have additional tariffs applied to us last week, there's still many things to consider, including the current other tariffs we have in agriculture imposed on us by China. And that affects canola, our peas and pork and other agricultural products because we aligned last summer on tariffs in another sector on EVs and steel with the U.S. against China. And so now I think for the prairies, we just really want to see some support for the ag sector.
Those tariff talks continue. Thank you so much, Candace.
Thanks for having me.